So guys, I could not help myself and I had to take a sneak peek at the religious tab here. So as you can see, the two greatest powers that are currently at war, the Reformed and the Cathar, are also the ones who have spread their religion the furthest in the world. And that is pretty impressive. I mean, we can say that the Reformed are actually leading by 20 provinces. But yeah, we will see. At the end of this war, things might change. Now also, we have the Shinto, who are, one of the 5 great powers. We have the Fraticelli and the Totemists. So the 5 great powers are within the first, 6 religions here, because you can see the underdog, the Sunni, who managed with the alliance of the several nations that they have managed to convert to actually get into spot number 4 in terms of number of provinces. And they're only 1 province behind the Shinto, so they most definitely are doing a great job of spreading their religion. I don't think I will give the victory to them because they simply don't have any one great nation to fight for them, because the Sunnis, which are arguably the strongest Sunni nation, they are a regional power at best. They are by far not a superpower, but therefore I can't really give them the victory, but they're definitely going to receive an honorable mention if they manage to, keep this high number of provinces until the end of the game, which, is it's not even 20 years left, so that is a major props to them. But of course, this war that we have got going on right now between actually the Protestants and Waldensians is one that might decide the end of this. I know I've mentioned it, or I've said this about several wars now, but this could be very, very important. Now, as you can see, we are actually, not we are, but the Waldensians are losing, which is somewhat surprising, because I would definitely say that the Cathar-Waldensian alliance has the upper hand here in Europe. Now we can see a big engagement here, Protestant and, I do believe Reformed forces as well engaging in a fierce battle against the Cathars, and they beat them back. They beat back the Cathar-Waldensian alliance. This might be because of the terrain, but this is these two wars that have been fought in Hoya, and they have always crushed the Cathars. But now, finally, we might see a Cathar victory. No, 3 battles have been fought in that very province. Oh god, and just as I was to say, and all 3 of them have been won by the Protestant Reformed Alliance. Nope, we can see a 90,000 man army of the Cathars swoop in and save the day. Alright, so still though, it's really hard fought, and I'm somewhat surprised to see such a resistance of the Reformed. I guess it's because the Reformed look so tiny in comparison to the Cathars that I don't really expect them to have all that many forces, but they actually do, bring a lot of men to their table. And, okay, so there we have the fetishists who still think that they can get something out of this. Now, they declared a war, a very opportunistic war. I have mentioned that this would be a great way for them to gain power if they were to declare war to take over the Reformed East Africa. A lot of provinces to be taken over here, and basically nobody can challenge the fetishists in their homeland area because they have such a huge army that everyone who really wants to win a land war against them, they would have to commit all of their forces in these provinces at once. And I don't think that the Reformed are most definitely not able to do anything right now. They are so caught up in their war in Europe here, with their ally of the Protestants already losing their war goal, that they are not going to send over any forces, at least not now. The Fraticelli, they might, but then again, even in the last war they were fighting, they were not too keen on sending troops the fetishist way. They were happy to just stay at home and defeat the Norse. And, well, the Kharijites, they are certainly the closest, but I think they will not at all. They're not at all interested in actually, attracting the hate of the fetishist forces, because they are way outnumbered. Alright, we see another naval battle here. The Cathars have the only heavy ships, but it seems as though they are somewhat outmatched by the new Reforms. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, they're losing heavy ships quick. So, wow, they definitely do not have the strongest navy. That is something we can say for sure. Yeah, the new Reformed faith seems to be one of the more naval-focused, nations, but that is not going to save them. I think the Cathar might is just too powerful here. All right, now, well, what are we doing here? There's the Catholics. All right, right. I was just wondering there for a second. Okay, so after indeed fierce struggle, I think we can now see the dominance of the Cathars taking a hold. There's still, resistance forming. The Protestants have been pushed back to Norway. They're kind of now chilling there, but for the most part, it's just the Reformed now organizing their forces, maybe trying to, get a quick peace with the leader of this war, the Waldensians. But yeah, the Cathars are very determined in continuing this. They even have Friesland, the capital of the Reformed, under siege, and it's only a matter of time until it falls. Actually, it's a matter of a long time until it falls, to be fair. Still, that is how the war goes here. There's also a detachment of Reformed in Iberia, but they're being dealt with as we speak. All right, now, these are the only two wars that we have got going on so far. The attackers are always losing. Now this is a problem. The fetishists have always been smart in their wars because they declared wars, mostly nationalism or others, wars of conquest even, to take over a certain province in Africa. And whenever they did that, they were successful. But now that they have declared imperialist war, and also the imperialist wars they have declared in the past, they did not do too well because they never managed to take over the capital of the various European powers they attacked. So this might be bad for them. For a short time, if Friesland falls to the Cathar forces, they might be able to make some progress because then the war goal progress has been stalled. But if they don't peace out during that time, they're gonna lose out on a lot of war score. All right, so there was a desperate attempt of the Reformed to end the siege or lift the siege of Calais, but yeah, as I said, it was very desperate and not well thought out. But whatever they have done, they managed to lift the siege of Friesland. So that's kind of interesting. You also see the Fraticelli here getting ready for I don't know what. They have their forces in place. Not entirely sure what they are planning, but yeah, they're certainly not helping out the Reformed here. So that's kind of strange to see what's going on there. But yeah, 100,000 Cathar forces ready to absolutely demolish the Protestants there. Wow. Okay, that was definitely a sign of power. Okay, so we have some more wars going on. The fourth Shinto-Zoroastrian imperialist war. Now, the Shinto, they know it's time. If they win, or if they want to win, they need to make progress now. Now, it's somewhat surprising that they don't choose a weaker target. I mean, they could just go after the Tengri. They have no allies. Of course, the Confucians. Actually, no. There's no reason and no need for the Shinto to go to war with the Zoroastrians. I mean, they could feed on the Tengri, on the Confucians, perhaps even the Theravada. Yeah, and even the Zunis. All of them would be much easier targets than the Zoroastrians, but I guess that is that's the Japanese honor, right? You're not fighting a foe that is weaker than you. You're actually taking on someone your own size, and that is something we should admire as well. We could call it stupid too if they lose another war here, that is. But I believe this time they are better prepared because they did call in the Sikh once again, and every time they did that, they have actually been very successful because the Sikh have a much shorter distance to travel to the Zoroastrian capital, which is what usually gives them their war score during these imperialist wars. So that is very impressive. Now, I think I've never covered this war that we have fought here, the Hurufi fighting against the Suomenusko. They had to give up quite a few provinces here to the Suomenusko in the north. Like, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I'm not mistaken. And then a few over here as well. So they have definitely been reduced in size, but they're still around. They don't really play any roles, so that's that. Okay, we can see a peace between Waldensian, Cathar alliance, and the Reformed. Now, if I'm correct, then these provinces have been given back earlier. So I don't think that the Waldensians have just gained these provinces. I'm not sure though, but I think the Waldensians only took these 3 provinces from the Protestants. So the Reformed sold them out, which is fine. That's something that they should have totally done. I mean, especially at this stage in the game, it's important to keep your own provinces together. And they dishonored their alliance with the Protestants because they are now being attacked by the Norse. Yes, they are being guaranteed by the Catholics and the Reformed. So who are you fighting right now? You are fighting the Catholics. And Catholic Louisiana, well, the Catholics are one of the few nations that I'm not too worried about, because they're simply not all that powerful, although they are actually protecting some, occupying some of the colonies here. Alright, we'll have to check out the big wars right now. So Norse-Protestant colonial war. This is for Befada. Alright, that was a pretty bad war goal you took there, but I think overall you're still going to win. The fetishists losing their war against the Reformed and Fraticelli Kharijites. Also not really a big surprise, since I mentioned the war goal, the capital, is still in Reformed hand and will stay so until the end of this war. There's no question about it. The fetishists have no way of getting their troops over to the Reformed lands and winning this war. That's not going to happen. But we might see a successful Shinto nation here against the Zoroastrians. And the Shinto are one of the 5 great powers that I believe have a good shot at winning this. So we see 5 nations with above 1,500 development, whether it is their personal development in the case of the Fraticelli, or it is development they share with some of their subject nations in the case of the first 3 nations, the Cathars, Reformed, and Shinto. So yeah, this is big, and I'm really interested to see. The Shinto definitely can gain a lot in this war against the Zoroastrians. I'm not sure if it's going to be 200 development to catch up to the Cathars. Right now, it looks as if it's really going to be a run between Cathars and Reformed, because they have a huge lead in terms of development, and as we just saw at the beginning of this episode, they're also the 2 most spread religions in the world. I think that we could maybe risk another look at the colonial, not the colonial, but at the religious map mode, although not much has changed, so I'm not entirely sure if we should do that. Let's maybe check out this war and see how it's going. We see Shinto forces marching in, but still there is Zoroastrian resistance, pretty fierce resistance here in the north as well. So I don't know. It looks as though they are broken in the south, however. So this is a change of focus. They are kind of luring the Zoroastrians in battles up here in the north, and that means they're being drawn away from defending their capital, and the Sikh can move in and occupy these lands. The Sikh are still very much interested in... never mind. I thought they were still interested in getting their cores back, but I think they have already done that. So all the things they're doing right now is just for the Shinto to win. That's all they care about. And, I suppose that's fine. I mean, the Shinto, they have been very generous in their wars. The Sikh have helped them out, but they have always given them back some provinces. So, this is kind of a friendship. The Sikh are now in it for the Shinto to win it. So that's good for them. Other than that, let's see what we've got going on here. Wow, a few more wars have been started. So we have the Animists and Ternate against the Shia and the Sunni. Now this is actually kind of funny, because this is the big Sunni civil war. 4 out of the 5 Sunni nations are currently at war. And this is an imperialist war. It doesn't really make much sense, because it doesn't really matter which provinces they give up. It's going to be in Sunni hands anyways. So therefore, the total amount of Sunni-controlled provinces is not going to change from this war. They're simply weakening each other, which makes it more difficult for their religion to spread. But still, I kind of find that funny. None of these nations has any shot at becoming a great power, or at possibly winning this. The only way they could potentially be mentioned in the end of this as maybe, as I said, an honorable mention perhaps, is by having a lot of provinces under their control. But for that, they would have to stop fighting themselves, and they should start actually colonizing the last remaining provinces of the world. But yeah, so the fetishists are losing their war. That is not really a big surprise. I wonder if they really have to give up anything. That might be happening. We'll have to see. The Norse, they are winning their war against the Protestants, despite not having the war goal under control. That's okay. The Zoroastrians still winning as well, and we have the Hindu fighting the Manicians and Australia. And we also have the Inti going to war with Lollard, with the Lollard Columbian nation, and of course their overlord, the Lollard faith, is protecting them. At least they're trying, but their fleets are getting well, just demolished on either side of the Lollard Colombian heartlands, and yeah, their lands are being occupied as well. So it's just now waiting out for the Inti. I hope this is not, I mean, it wouldn't matter if it's a, yeah, it's not, it is an imperialist war, but they do control the capital of Lollard Columbia, so this is definitely going to go in the Inti favor. I just wonder if they can really take over all of these provinces in this one war. It would be nice to see. It would really be nice to see, in fact. And then maybe we're going to have a last war between the Nahuatl and Inti. I'm kind of surprised that the Mayans only, retook some of their cores, and the rest, they're just gonna let the Nahuatl get away with it? It seems like it. But yeah, so also the totemists, you gotta do something. You can't really do much, because you kind of boxed yourself in with allying the Mayans. So the only ones you can really go for, because the Shinto are powerful, I would probably suggest to go after the new reforms. But then again, I'm not sure if that is the best course of action. Alright, so the Protestants are completely occupied, not really a big surprise there. And yeah, the Shinto-Sikh alliance, wow, 100,000 men, yet they do not have control over the capital. No capital control, and that is what's crucial in this war. That is what, okay, they need to break this fortress first before they can do anything. We see some revolutionary rebels. Alright, so the Hindu are losing heavily against the Venetians. Wow, that is pretty bad. And the Monophysites have declared a war on the Shia. So, okay, I said that this war is not gonna, really change the amount of provinces held by the Sunnis, but this is actually weakening the Sunnis incredibly. So that's why civil war is probably the best name for this. They are at war with each other, and therefore they have opened a chance for the Monophysites to grab some lands. Also, this does not really matter in the grand scheme of things, because the Monophysites also do not have a chance at winning this. But they could take away the honorable mention of the Sunnis here if they take over enough provinces. Now, to be fair, they have a holy cause, the Monophysites here. They want to clean up the borders, clean up the mess that is the Middle East, and they are starting with Shia, now Sunni, Luristan, and I feel like this is definitely something that I approve of, and we will see how well they fare against the Sunnis. Now, I did mention that the Sunni are by far not a great power, but they are at least a regional power in Arabia, and well, now they're facing the other regional power in the Middle East, and that is the Monophysites. And so far, the Sunnis are not present. Their country is simply being overrun. Nothing is, they're not defending at all. So we'll see how these things develop. And we have some 10 years left in this series. And now I mentioned there's going to be only 2 more videos. Now that would mean there's only 1 more video. I think there's 1 more video where we actually have combat going on, and then we'll have a last final video where we go over all of the statistics and we'll determine the winner. But for now, that was it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.